Bend the knee. Vale Magolas, everybody. This is Don Willie back again with another edition of Ice and Fire Opinions. And yeah, it's a Friday edition. I normally don't do Fridays, but I actually I need to apologize to folks for not being here yesterday, and I will explain why in a few. But yeah, we here now though. We here now. Oh man, oh man. And you know what? Who we got in the chat? Who we got in the chat? Holler at me. And also, let me tweet this out to everybody who's online right now. My bad for starting late. I know I'm like a few minutes late, which is not what I like to do. All right. Tweeted that out. All right, so yeah, today I'm going to be discussing Lord Robert Arryn, also known as Sweetrobin. Shout out to AU Pack Mule and also Sonny Frank. Yeah, now for those of you who are mainly show watchers, you will know Robert Arryn as Robin Arryn. For whatever reason, they decided that they did not want to have him called Robert on the show. Could be, like I've heard with the show, they decided to change some of the names because they didn't want there to be any confusion, like people possibly getting confused by different characters or whatever, possibly having the same name or very similar names. So, it is what it is. But yeah, this actually was a request from someone from Instagram, which is, it was a little odd. Like, I've never got a request to do a video from anyone from Instagram before. So that was interesting to say the least. Please forgive me there. I am parched. I'm just getting home from work not too long ago, and wanted to make sure I did this as I said I would. Anyways, back with the thinking cap on to talk about this crazy little bastard right here. And Robin Arryn, or Robert Arryn, is an interesting character in the story because he is one of the younger lords of a major house, not a minor house, but a major house. Shout out to Ion Trone, who just popped up. So this is the first time, we're looking at someone who, in the modern story, is the lord of one of the, higher great houses. And we're dealing with the regent, and also him, like his mother is his regent, and his mother is Liza Arryn. And unfortunately, his mother was crazy, and she passed some of that off to him as well, where he's a little unhinged. He kind of thinks he can do whatever he wants. It's like, I'm the Lord of the Vale, you don't tell me what to do kind of thing. And, because of that, you have a lot of people who try to placate to his ego, are, hoping to gain favor with him. And the only people that he really seems to actually like or care about are his mother and Petyr Baelish. And I don't even know so much that he cares about Petyr Baelish, as it is that it's like, okay, I love my mother, and I know my mother loved you, so I guess I'll listen to you. And that's the crazy thing about him, is that you don't know who he actually truly cares for. And so we'll get into him a little bit, right? We'll start from the beginning. So we first get introduced to him in A Game of Thrones, when Tyrion is taken to the Vale for trial by Catelyn Tully. And we get the description of him being like a sickly young boy, and he's still and I don't know how they decide to go about it in the show, because like thinking about this is crazy. So he's like 7 or 8 years old, and he is still nursing at his mother's breast, which is crazy for him to be that old, still nursing at his mother's breast. Seeing it was shocking. Reading it was shocking, because it's like George is very descriptive in the way that he does it. And again, I don't know how they did it in the show, because like I doubt that the actress or the actor actually did that scene for real. Like this was medieval ages or whatever may have you, and they had to do a play. Yeah, I don't even think they would do that for real in a play. Even if it was pre film or television era. I don't know that they would do that in a play for real. So it was just kind of crazy seeing that on screen, because I'm like, yo, you got this kid here who is definitely, he should have definitely been weaned by now, and is you're nursing at his mom's breast. So when you get Tyrion's trial by combat, like they open the moon door, and he's like, hey, I wanna make someone fly out the moon door. And it's always talking about trying to make people fly out the moon door. Shout out to Sir L.T. Giles. And like what kind of things was he being taught? If he's thinking like, anytime somebody annoys me, or if I judge them to be guilty of a crime or whatever may have you, I get to open this big giant door, because in the books, it's a huge door carved into the side of the castle, as opposed to being the round door that we see in the show that just kind of gets cranked open or whatever. Right? So what was he raised on that he thinks it's okay to just like, all right, well, I'm not liking what's going on right now. Open up the moon door and just, Jazzy Jeff him out of here. And so that's, just the crazy thing to think about when he's talking about wanting to make people fly. And, we get the whole thing with the interactions between him and Sansa later on, because now in the show, it's done kind of similar in the beginning, where it's like, all right, she first shows up and Liza is talking about, okay, you two are gonna get married, and all this other stuff, and don't worry, we'll protect you in the Vale. And you know, Robin Arryn on the show buys into this, and he's kind of like, hey, yeah, it's gonna be me and you, but just remember, I'm still Lord of the Vale, and you're kind of just a nobody. And shout out to Sammy Sam and K Philly. So it's one of those things where, in the show version, Petyr Baelish, after the death of well, not after the death, but after he murders Lysa Arryn, basically is like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna foster Robin Arryn out to the Royces. Get him out of here so I can go and do what I need to do in order to secure my plans. Sends him to the Royces, and Jan Royce is like, hey, I'll try to see what I can do to make a man out of him, I guess, but he's to no avail whatsoever. And the only other thing that we see him do in the show is, like, once Petyr Baelish finds out about what the Boltons have done to Sansa, he's like, all right, well, I'm going to get the Vale Knights. We're going to go over. We're going to take the North from the Boltons and hopefully be able to rescue Sansa at the same time, because she's the one that I want, to rule beside me as Queen of Westeros. So the last thing we see him do is say that he'll help Sansa with taking back her residence from the Boltons. And that's where we leave off in the show. Now, in the books, it's a little more interesting because after, the whole debacle with Baelish killing his mom, Marillion, who, if you guys don't know about Marillion, he was a singer. In the show, they actually they didn't kill him early, but they did cut out his tongue. He's the one in season 2, I believe it is. Yeah, he's the one early in season 2 or sometime in mid-season 2 where he was singing a song about how Cersei got Robert killed, and Joffrey has his tongue cut out by Ilyn Payne. But in the books, he's in the Vale. He's singing all kinds of crazy songs. He is Lysa Arryn's favorite, I get not courtier, but I don't know, favorite bard in the Vale or whatever may have you. So, when the whole situation happens with Lysa Arryn confronting Sansa, Marillion is actually there and he's witnessing the whole thing, and he's almost a party to what's going down. And I'll get back to like how this relates to Sweetrobin in a second. But basically, Petyr Baelish comes in, tosses Lysa out the moon door, tells Sansa to open the door to the throne room. He's like, yeah, Marillion just killed my wife. So whatever deal Petyr Baelish got made with Marillion supposedly should be dead, but Sweetrobin keeps on talking about how he can hear him. I keep on hearing him singing. And this has led some to believe, that he might have some sort of green sight powers, which it could be possible, we're not 100% sure, like the throne inside of the Eyrie is made out of weirwood, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's made out of weirwood. And it might actually be like the stump of, like, carved from the stump of a weirwood tree. So you never know. It could be a thing where he has some latent ability, and it's been heightened from his time of sitting on that throne with his mom. Um, so yeah, as pointed out by Ray West, he does have a shaking disease, which basically we'll call seizures, and it's kind of crazy because like they're giving him, I believe it's sweet sleep, in order to calm his nerves, and because they're giving him so much, or they've given him so much, he, I'm trying to think what's the best way to put it. Like, he's become a little immune to it, so they have to keep on giving him just a little bit more. But it's getting to the point now where the maester is telling him, like, yo, look, if you keep on giving him more of this sweet sleep, he is going to he's gonna die, basically. So it's been speculated that he is going to wind up possibly being poisoned to death, and that Petyr Baelish is the one that is poisoning him. Now I'll be honest with you, like, yeah, for me that's a little too easy. George R. R. Martin, doesn't really take the easy road out when it comes to the characters. He doesn't do the thing that you normally expect. It's whole breaking of tropes. Here you have this sickly little boy who, yeah, it's one of those things where, yeah, it should be easy. It should be easy to just bump him off and have things go the way we want. Now, another thing that plays into this too is the fact that there is a cousin of his named Harold Harding. Now, I believe he's either a first cousin or a second cousin, something like that. And I'm not sure how all of those family tree things work out or whatever, but he is a cousin. Oh, and shout out to when Debo breaks down the door, and also Mr. White Privilege, and you can see it on screen, so don't hit me with any political stuff. So it's people are, it's not even that people who read the books are speculating that he's going to be replaced by Harold Harding, but Sweetrobin kind of senses it himself. And so he talks to Sansa, who now is in the guise of Elaine, and he's like, hey, yeah, I know that Harold Harding wants me dead. Everybody wants me dead so that I could, so that they could take over, and have him be the heir to the Vale. And this leads me to believe that Harold Harding's a dead man. Harold Harding is a dead man. He's gonna probably wind up dying at whatever this tourney is for the Winged Knights and all that other shit. Yeah, so I really yeah, I'd say, let's say rest in peace to Harold Harding now, because trust me, that man is dead. Sweetrobin is not gonna die. Now, the other thing about him that a lot of people have speculated about, and I think this is very, very plausible, is that he is actually the son of Petyr Baelish and Lysa Arryn, and not Jon Arryn. And this has been speculated because when we get introduced to Harold Harding is said to look like a younger version of Jon Arryn. He has blonde hair, blue eyes. He's very, tall, robust, not spindly and sickly. And Sweetrobin, brown hair, green eyes, very kind of pale and pasty and real sickly. And who else has brown hair, green eyes, and when they were a kid was, kind of pale, pasty, sickly? Petyr Baelish. So, yeah, so he probably, most likely, is Littlefinger's son. Now, here's the thing, though. Because George is who he is and he writes how he writes, it's one of those things that we will probably never get 100% confirmation to. It'll be one of those things that if someone, like, after the book series is done and over with and he is not actually given the answers in the books, he will probably, like, catch him at a convention. Hey, George, I gotta ask you this question. Was Sweetrobin actually Petyr Baelish's son? Well, what do you mean? Well, the way that you described him looking in the books, and when you described Petyr Baelish when he was a kid and all that, it just was stand the reason. It was like, well, look, according to the laws of gods and men, well, he was Jon Arryn's son. I mean, no one in the books ever questioned it. And I'm like, I could see him doing that. I could definitely see him doing that. Like, it's left up to your interpretation as to whether or not he happens to be Petyr Baelish's son. I mean, yes, he does bear kind of a strong resemblance to Littlefinger, but he was recognized as Jon Arryn's son, and no one else in the Vale or in the Seven Kingdoms actually questioned it. So, you can interpret it how you want to. I left it all up to your interpretation. Well, we know how we know how George talks. Like, what's funny? I was just thinking about something. George R. R. Martin almost sounds like George Lucas a little bit with the way they talk. They kind of have like the nasally voice, and the way that they kind of pause when they're talking sometimes. Like, yeah, when I created Jar Jar Binks, I was hoping he'd be like the next kind of Ewoks for the kids, him the Gungans. Didn't realize that people wouldn't like Jar Jar Binks as much. Kind of sad about that. And then George comes in. Yeah, well, you see, in the Seven Kingdoms of Westeros, here we have Lord Robert Arryn, who, yeah, he's kind of a sickly kid. And, throughout history, we've had many monarchs who were sickly kids, and people thought that they were going to die, and they happened to turn out to be very proficient leaders in their day. So, yeah, look, I don't think he's gonna die. I think he's Littlefinger's kid, and what I think is going to be absolutely poetic, is I think he is going to partially be responsible for the death of his father. So, Littlefinger was responsible for the death of everyone, for the death of the person who everyone thought was his father, and yet, young Robert will be responsible for the death of his actual biological father. And let me explain how. So, I'm thinking some point during the books, because obviously, show has already jumped the shark with that. We ain't gonna talk about that. But I'm thinking at some point, Sansa will find out that Baelish was responsible for what happened in the throne room, and she will set up Petyr Baelish, have him go to, the Eyrie, be standing there with the moon door open, and she'll probably say something like, confessing her heart to, not confessing her heart to him, but like, Baelish will be, confessing his love for Sansa and all that. And she'll say to him, like, I have only ever loved one man, only one, only Ned. Then the next thing you know, the doors open, in come the guards. They've heard the confession about how he killed Liza Arryn. And now, Robert Arryn tells the Vale, the guards who are there, like, first he asks Sansa, he's like, can I make the bad man fly now? And, Sansa nods in approval. The knights roll up. But, my lord, make the bad man fly! 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 And out goes Petyr Baelish. So, that's what I'm thinking is going to wind up happening. Oh, shout out to Kat and also Paul McCary. Or is it Paul McKay? Not sure, but oh wow. Ion Throne says Sansa's accurate answer, only Joffrey. Oh, you are the worst. You are the absolute worst. Stop that. Absolute worst. How dare you? So, yeah, I don't think that Robert is going to grow up and be like some super great lord. He might die during the war against the White Walkers. He could very well die in the war against the White Walkers. But I don't think that he's going to die the way people expect if he does die. Because the whole thing of him just being a sick kid that winds up dying in bed, because somebody then put some drops in his drink. I'm like, nah, that would be way too easy. That would be way too easy. Like, is that what we're really doing? All right, we put a couple of drops in his drink. Sleep, sweet Robin. Sleep and have no more of the shakes. No more of the shakes for sweet Robin. No more seizures. No more Pokemon induced seizures. Okay. I drink the sweet sleep now. Okay. Elaine, will you still love me in the morning? I will love you forever, sweet Robin. Now sleep. Thank you, Elaine. Good night, Elaine. Yeah, right. I can't see that happening. Cannot see that happening. Not one bit. But yeah, man. Look, obviously, unfortunately, he has grown to be a terrible human being, even at the age of like 8 or 10 or whatever. Oh, shout out to ZYZ. I don't know. I mean, that's a new name. I'm not used to seeing that name. Yeah, but he would make a terrible lord. Because right now he is gone. It's not that he's gone unchecked, right? But it's that since no one takes him seriously, it's like he says all this crazy reckless shit, and no one is really telling them like, yo, nah, man, you don't, no, you cannot do that. All right, that's wrong, and good people don't do what you're talking about doing. If you do the shit you're talking about doing, somebody's gonna come and fucking kill you. You know, no one's really telling him that. So he's you know, kind of been unchecked in that regard, you know, and it's because um no one has no one's taking him seriously. You know, they've been dealing with his crazy ass mom. You know, people are still kind of reeling over the loss of John Arryn. And it's like, all right, we dealing with Petyr Baelish right now. We don't know what the deal is with him. Can we trust him? Do we not trust him? You know, what are we doing here with him? And they're so busy focused on Petyr Baelish that they're not thinking about this kid whatsoever, and that could be their downfall, you know. um you know, so if I had to guess, I don't think he's gonna make it to the end of the story. But I mean, and it's kind of tragic because it's like no one really wants to hear, you know, a story where a kid, like especially like somewhere like between 8 and 10, where a kid actually dies. Like that's not what we want, you know. But I can't see it to where George will write that he would make it out of the story, and then we, you know, wind up getting the you know, flashback POV kind of thing, like at the epilogue where it's talking about how he was, you know, he actually turned out to be an okay ruler of the Vale. Like that just doesn't seem like it. Now, but then the question is, who does the Vale pass on to then, right? Because if Harold Harding is dead, which I'm telling you, yo, Harold Harding is a dead man, you know. Uh, and I don't know that there are any other Harding family members. Like I don't know, man. Listen, the world of Ice and Fire, and sitting over there. I don't want to jump off character. I mean, off camera right now to go and get it. But I don't know. It, like, I don't. I really have to see how the family trees connect. And there's a lot of parts in the family trees that don't. We don't get to see all the branches, you know, and how this person is married to this other person. So who would actually control the Vale afterward? It might wind up falling to the Royces. I mean, remember the Royces were the kings of the Vale before the Andals showed up. You know, and it was you know, artist Arryn who wound up defeating one of the Royces to become king of the Vale. You know, so K Philly is saying Robin dies, Sansa gets the Vale. I mean, well, see, here's the thing though, right? So, because remember, they still kind of go by male primogenitor when it comes to lines of succession. You know, so they would have to go back up the rungs a few generations first, look for a male, and if there's no male left, then they would actually go to a female, and if the closest female is Sansa, then yeah, she will wind up getting it. But you know, and who knows? Again, could be a thing where they wind up giving it back to the Royces, since the Royces were the prominent family before the Arryn showed up. So I'm not 100% sure on that one. You know, Oh man. All right. So, let's see here. Let's take some questions. Well, I see one here from Sonny Frank. Would Harold's illegitimate children inherit? That is a good question. I don't know that they would. You know, I mean, because all right, see, here's the thing. You're talking about no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't inherit because they would have to be legitimized by whoever the king is, you know, or whoever the primary ruler is of the Seven Kingdoms. So, no, because bastards don't get inheritance. Bastards do not get inheritance unless they have been legitimized. And that was one of the main reasons why Catelyn did not want Robb to legitimize Jon. Because she was like, all right, well, Jon might not try to challenge you for Winterfell, but one of his descendants could challenge one of your descendants for Winterfell, and it all would start because of the fact that you made him a legitimate Stark. So, yeah, Harry's kids would have to be legitimized, otherwise they get nothing. Settle. Donut. Let's see here. I think the Vale is key in a big battle. Imagine Mountain Tribe whites and dragons dropping out of the moon door to attack. That would be interesting. Dragons coming from the moon door to attack. And yes, yeah, Ray West, Catelyn did suck. Yeah. Fuck Catelyn Tully. I refuse to call her a Stark. She's not a Stark. And I'll be honest with you, man, I'm not even a big fan of the Starks like that. But out of anybody in the family, she is the worst. She is absolutely the worst. Hold on, let's see here. I don't see a search for redemption in this character. Okay, I must have missed something. I don't know what character you guys are talking about as far as redemption is concerned. Alright, so K Philly asks, didn't Jon Arryn want to send Robin away? Yeah, you know what? I almost forgot about that. So yeah, he did. So there came to be the issue of fostering Jon Arryn. Right? And that was, I mean, not Jon Arryn, the fostering of Sweetrobin. And that was a thing where it was like, all right, well, if you talk to one person, it was supposed to be Tywin. You talk to another person, it was supposed to be Stannis, kind of thing. And I'm not sure why the fostering of Sweetrobin was such a major issue, but yeah, it was kind of a contention. The Lannisters wanted to hold on to him because obviously the Lannisters wanted leverage. Why Stannis wanted to foster him, I have absolutely no idea. Either way, it would have still been bad. Would have been bad regardless. And the crazy thing about it was, because Jon Arryn had died and there wasn't a male lord, Robert Baratheon was actually going to name Jaime Lannister as Warden of the East. And which, you know, Ned was kind of like, dog, have you lost your mind, man? His father is already Warden of the West. You're surrounded by Lannisters in the capital, and then you're going to talk about you're going to make Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer Warden of the East. Like, nah, chill, don't do that. Don't do that, bruh. Don't do that. So I have to look more into the fostering of Sweetrobin, and also why I am out of focus right now. Supposed to have autofocus on this damn camera. Alright, so next up from Kat. Do you think we'll see anyone else fall through the moon door? Yeah, Miranda Royce, if she don't stop playing with Sansa, we see her kind of poking her nose where it don't belong. Miranda Royce, you about to be out of here. You better stop it. Sammy saying Catelyn Stark is so misunderstood. No, she's not. Fuck Catelyn. Let's see. Paul McQuay. I think it's McQuay. Paul McQuay asks, why don't you like the Starks? I don't like the Starks because, for all the honor of the Stark family, I mean, like, look, you can be honorable and not be an idiot, and sometimes they just do dumb shit, and I mean, like don't do shit that is bound to get you killed, or is bound to really put you in a bad spot. Yeah, just don't do that. And I'm like, yeah, I understand being honorable. Like, yeah, don't be a douchebag. Don't go around making promises you can't keep. But at the same point, man, like, don't do shit that's gonna put your life in jeopardy. So a shout out to Ricky Hunt, Hell Hydra. Yeah, let's see here. You missed the whole Sweetrobin analysis, man. We on to the question and answer part now. Okay, and yeah, so question from Ricky Hunt is, I've heard some people say Sweetrobin may have some magic abilities. What do you think? I mean, it's possible, it's possible, but I don't know, man. We have to learn, like, since we haven't gotten anything from his perspective and we haven't really seen him do anything. I mean, like, yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you have to ask, like, all right, well, like, why is it that he's hearing Marillion? And what kind of dreams is it that he's having? Because he's convinced that Harold Harding wants him dead, and the other people want him dead so that Harold Harding can take over. I mean, does he have some type of telepathy? Does he have green dreams? Is he, seeing or hearing other people's thoughts, or seeing what they're saying in their alone conversations or something like that? It's possible. It's very possible. So, I don't know. We have to see. Alright, so, from when Debo breaks down the door, ask, will Jan Royce have the Vale in the show, or does the show care enough to, let's see here, or does the show care? Nah, you know what? I don't think the show cares enough to actually, like, parcel that out. They're probably gonna kill Jan Royce next season. Jan Royce, yeah, like Ricky Hunt saying, Jan Royce is not a factor in the show. So I can see Jan Royce, leading the last charge at the Bloody Gate or something like that. Like, last defenders of the Bloody Gate. Let's see here. If everyone had listened to Catelyn, they'd still be alive. If Catelyn had listened to Ned, maybe everyone would still be alive. No. First off, listening to Catelyn got Ned killed because she was the one that was like, oh, you gotta take the hand of the king position. You gotta be hand of the king. And then she was like, yes, got this dude out of here, about to get Jon out of here. It, like, yo, as soon as Ned said, yes, okay, fine, I'll take this, the position as hand of the king, she was like, oh yeah, and Jon gotta go too. Oh, and dabbed on Jon as he had to leave Winterfell. So nah, man, nah, we ain't listening to Catelyn about nothing. Okay, so from Angel Reed, do you think Sweetrobin will survive on the TV version of Game of Thrones? Hmm. Nah, I could. Nah, I think he's done for. And they killed off Rickon, so I think they're old enough to give Sweetrobin a real kind of gruesome death. So yeah, nah, he's done for. Let's see here. Next up from Sam Mead Sam. Will the Vale Lord side with Dany when she shows up? I think since the Vale has pledged to Jon, they'll probably go with it. Maybe not initially, but they're going to go with it, at some point. Maybe she'll remind them about, like, hey, one of my ancestors flew into the Vale, and basically subjugated the reigning King Arryn at that point. So, yo, come on. You already know what it is. I got 2 dragons sitting right here, right now. Don't make me have to burn it all down. All right, next up for Ricky Hunt. Do you think Sweetrobin dies and wins? I actually think he sticks around longer than people think. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. I think that I think he survives, wins, but dies in A Dream of Spring. Because what's the crazy thing, man? Like when I think about the title A Dream of Spring, like, dream is something that hasn't happened yet. So, I think that it's not going to be good for a lot of people in A Dream of Spring, and it's not going to, George already said it's not going to have a happy ending. It's going to be a bittersweet ending. So, yeah. All right, let's see here. Yo, Sam. Yo, Ned. He says Sam. He says that Ned not taking a hand position would be betraying his friend, basically signing his death warrant. Robert's death warrant was already signed. Let's call it what it is. Robert's death warrant was signed way before Ned got there. Cersei was planning to bump him off anyway, so nah. You're right, Ricky. It's all Cat's fault. If Cat hadn't played them games, Littlefinger wouldn't have become the dude that he is today, and wouldn't have started everything. So basically, it all goes back to Cat. All right, when Debo breaks down the door, asks, "Will the Vale be neutral in the war with Daenerys, and if so, will it be their downfall? Is the Vale impregnable to dragons?" Impenetrable. I don't know why I said impregnable. Impenetrable to dragons. No, the Vale is not impenetrable in jeez, come on. Learn how to talk here. No, the Vale is not impenetrable to dragons. And honestly speaking, I think with the war with Daenerys, it's not that they're going to be neutral in terms of someone is going to ask for their help and they're going to say no. I think that things are going to happen so quickly that they're not even going to get time to, like, I think that everything is going to wind up with the Vale kind of almost as a choke point, where you're going to have war in the south, you're going to have war in the north, and everything is going to kind of sweep towards the Vale to the point where they're not even going to really have time to tell people yes or no. I think it's going to wind up moving that quickly. So, yeah, but nah, it's not. It's the Vale is not impenetrable to dragons. That's how they lost the Vale in the first place, because what was it? Was it Rhaenys or Visenya or Rhaenyra? Whichever. It was one of the Aegon's sisters. One of Aegon's sister wives swooped in on Dragonback and was like, yeah, okay, look, my army might not be able to pass the Bloody Gate, but I can drop in on you anytime. You're handing over your kingdom. So, yeah. Ricky, come on, man. Now you blaming it on the Targaryens. Now you blaming it on the Targs, man. Come on, man. We all know it's Cat's fault. You know. Mm-mm-mm. Wrong cat. We're not. No, not you, cat. We're talking about, Catelyn Tully. Sister to the floppy fish, Edmure. All right, let's see here. All right, next question from Ricky Hunt. Will Rob's okay. Will Rob's will ever show back up? Who in the story knows about Jon being declared the heir? Let's see. I think the will is going to show back up. Damn it, which was it? Mage Mormont? Stacey Mormont? One of the Mormont ladies has a copy of the will, and I think it's one of the Glovers that also has a copy of the will too. So yeah, it's gonna show back up. Just like Ned's Bones, it'll show back up sooner or later. Somebody has to know about Jon being declared heir. I mean, well, because he had all the people who signed the will too, though. So yeah, there are the people who know, which is that most of the people who knew got slaughtered at the Red Wedding. Most, but not all. A shout out to Bernie the Burnt. Yeah. The Vale is susceptible to dragons. Ask Harrenhal. Indeed. Oh man. No, I don't think that Sam from Sammy Sam. I like he's saying he doesn't. He hopes that Dany doesn't end up burning all the great castles. But no, I don't think she's gonna do that. Like, what does that gain her? What would that gain her to burn all of the great castles? All right. So next up from Ricky Hunt. Ricky is the king of the questions. We know this. This is true. Let's see. Who do you think will rule in the Vale at the end? I hope it's the Royces. I think I talked about this. It must have been right before you came on when I talked about this. Yeah, it's like I gotta look through the family tree again. But if it wouldn't pass to Sansa, which I'm not sure if it would, because yes, she is Robin Arryn's cousin, but she's not related through the male line. In terms of, like, she's not related to Robert Arryn through the male line. So she might not have any claim on the Vale whatsoever. So I'm saying, like, I think it would probably go to the Royces because they were kings of the Vale before the Andal invasion. So from AU Pack Mill, just remember, respect the pack. Let's see, question from him. And speaking of Ned's bones, do you believe the bones are Ned's? They were given by Littlefinger. Um. Yo, nah, man, he would be. That would be beyond super treacherous if he gave somebody else's bones instead of Ned's. Oh God, wow. Um, nah, because he actually did love Cat in his own twisted way, so I think he would give her, or at least try to give back the bones. And remember, like the bones were given in the show by Littlefinger, but in the books I believe they were given by Tyrion. I could be wrong on that, but I do believe they were given by Tyrion in in the books. So I mean, unless Littlefinger has some kind of intervention in that, yeah, I do think they actually are Ned's bones. I do think they are. All right, so next question, from Ricky Hunt. We'll see. There were 3 copies, weren't there? Yeah, I believe there were 3 copies. Like I said, one went with one of the Mormont ladies, and then another one went with a Glover, and then I forgot where the third one went to. Uh, hmm. Thought I was about to sneeze there for a second. Okay. All right. So when Debo breaks down the door, asks, "Will Daenerys dare to listen to discipline dissidents, or will she diminish the difference between dying and obtaining her domain?" Uh, hmm. Uh, hmm. Um. I mean, look. Hopefully, she's learned something about ruling by the time she gets back to Marine, and and hopefully make some wise decisions about dealing with the people. Hopefully, you know. Honestly speaking, one can never tell with Daenerys. But yeah, I mean, hopefully she'd listen to them. I mean, you talking about yeah, you discipline dissidents. Did you just try to use like as many D's in a sentence as possible? Like I'm just gonna make every other word a word that starts with D. That's what it almost seems like, man. Oh man. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I mean, if Daenerys is a wise ruler, then maybe. Because we don't want her just burning people. Going on Mad Queen on us, bend the knee, or have Drogon blast you into 10 trillion pieces of ash. Don't think that's a cool idea. All right, so AU Packing will ask, will clansmen inherit the veil? Uh, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I mean, it's possible, but I doubt it though. I mean, like mountain clans have been around for all that long, and they're not organized. I don't think they're organized enough. Now, mind you, yes, they do have. I mean, it's funny because they haven't shown back up in a major way since they got their payments in gold and steel from the Lannisters after the Battle of Blackwater. It's like after the Battle of Blackwater, it's like, all right, we got our weapons, we got some money from the Lannisters, we out, we're going back to the Vale. And like you hear about them, kind of harrying people here and there, but it's not a thing where um it's not a thing where they, I don't know, it's not a thing where they damn it. They haven't shown up in like major force to do anything crazy. Another one from AU Pack Meal. Whatever. No, this is a state. Like they did it with the mountain skull. Okay, I'm lost. What happened here? Pack, you'll have to. Uh, I'm not sure exactly what you meant with the whole thing with the mountain skull. All right, so next question from Ricky Hunt. Some people say Stoneheart will try to crown Jon as king of the North, and she has Rob's crown, but I can't see Vengeful Cat trying to do this. What are your thoughts? I mean, maybe that could be the thing that finally puts her spirit to rest, is crowning Jon. You know, finally gaining solace in the knowledge. It's like, yeah, you know what? I did this kid wrong. Uh, he deserves to be king in the North, and let him. Maybe she wants him to get revenge for the rest of the Stark family. Like, alright, you are the last Stark that she knows of. So go out, get revenge, be king in the North. All that good stuff. But I don't know, man. She's a Stoneheart. She's a hateful woman. She might, go to her death, putting the crown on herself, and be like, you know what? I'd rather be a zombie queen than to have Jon as king in the North. Here we go. So, yeah. Fuck Catelyn Tully. um. So I don't think the will was sent. The will wasn't sent to Howland Reed, but some people, like, there were people who were sent to get Howland Reed who have the will. It wasn't like get this will to Howland Reed. It was like, hey, all right, you got the will. Oh yeah, also do me a favor, go get Howland Reed, because we kind of really need Howland Reed. All right, from Sammy Sam, do you think it will end with Westeros as multiple kingdoms? I think more than likely one person ruling seven kingdoms again. Um, I don't know. I honestly, mm, I honestly don't know, man. Because in the show, it's seeming like it's going to lead towards a democracy of some sort, or at the bare minimum, a republic, right? But as far as how it'll play out in the books, it's still a little too early to tell. You know, yeah, it's still a little too early to tell. I'll be honest with you. I don't have a good answer for that one. I really don't. So I don't want to. I don't want to give you some BS answer. Yeah. So I really don't have a good answer for that one. Yeah, man. Sorry about that. Um, Another one from Ricky Hunt. Will House Royce ever get the respect they deserve in the fandom? I think that when it comes to book fans, people who actually read and enjoy the books, the Royces do get a lot of respect. Um, Especially Jan Royce. And I think way more. When people go back and read, uh, reread the books, way more Royce gets a lot of respect. So yeah, no, I think with regards to the book people, the Royces get a lot of respect, but show watchers unfortunately have haven't learned the significance of the Royce family. So, you know, Jan Royce in the show just seems like a petty, really kind of he seems like a petty aristocrat. Like really, he doesn't seem like a battle hardened warrior. It's like he runs around in the armor all the time, and we know in the books that Jan Royce has the bronze armor with the runes on it. But it's like he is shown to be like a battle hardened warrior, whereas Jan Royce in the show is like an aristocratic kind of asshole a little bit. And so, like, yeah, it's hard to respect a dude that just kind of seems like he's being a loudmouth all the time. So, unfortunately, in the show fandom, nah, they're not going to get the respect they deserve. But in the books, I think a lot of people respect the Royces. All right, when Debo breaks down the door, ask, will the Lightning Lord Beric Dondarrion sacrifice himself to save Tormund the Barbarian? Will the fall of the everlasting wall be the end of it all, or will Tormund and his bear balls save them all? I guess you're talking about show Barrack. Nah, I don't think that he's gonna need to save Tormund. You know, like now if you're talking about like yeah, giving up his last life in terms of like giving him the breath of life or kiss of life, whatever you want to call it. Nah, I don't think they're gonna need to do all that. um, it's either he would do that for John or his new best buddy, the Hound. Um, yeah, it's either gonna be John or the Hound. And if it goes down like that, it's gonna be John or the Hound. All right, so next up from Ricky Hunt. Will any of Cat's family encounter her again? I think Arya or Blackfish may run into her and be devastated by seeing her now. I can see her running into Blackfish in the Riverlands and either being horrified to the point where he's like, "Yo, I have to end her. Like this isn't what should be happening," or he'd be like, "All right, well, you know what? This isn't exactly the way I wanted it, but listen, she is my family, and I'm gonna, still do family duty honor." You know. So Ricky Hunter said, "Let's be honest, Howland Reed is a shitty friend. Never shows up when people need him to." Oh my god, yeah, that is true though. It is true. We haven't seen Howland this whole damn time, man. Oh man. Sammy Sam says, If Howland only shows up to confirm R plus L equals J, I'm going. Sorry, it is going to be anticlimactic. Yeah, yeah. All right, so from Paul McQuay, random question: who do you think wrote the pink letter? Oh man, man, oh man, the question that has haunted the fandom, that has asked thousands of more questions. Um, I mean, it's almost it's almost a given that it's not Ramsay. It's almost a given that it's not Ramsay, just based off of just based off of the description of the handwriting, the fact that it's not written in blood, and also that it doesn't have skin attached to it. Um, the other candidates that I've been hearing tossed around are Stannis, Mance Rayder. I think there might have been one more, but the two main ones are Stannis and Mance Rayder. So I know the two people that I've heard really talk about these two people. One side, Preston Jacobs. The other side, Tony Teflon. So Preston Jacobs says Mance Rayder. Tony Teflon says Stannis. I think they have good arguments for both. Mm. Oh man, but based off the argument that Preston Jacobs makes about it, I might have to go with Preston Jacobs that it is whatchamacallit, Mance Rayder. Just based off the fact that the way that the people are named or not named or described in the letter, it's like anyone who's related to who's related to Mance is kind of named, and whereas everyone who is not related to Mance is more described. You know, and so that's the big difference. So that's the one thing that I gotta give in terms of that seems like the more plausible argument, but I don't know, man. I wish we got a damn answer to that shit already. Starting to fucking piss me off, George. God damn it. All right, next up from when Debro breaks down the door. Will Brienne choose the red-handed? Sorry, red-handed. Why the hell did I say red-handed? Will Brienne choose the red-headed bearded giant who can definitely fight, or the smart mouth blonde quick-witted knight? Man. Well, it's funny because with Brienne, she's someone who has been mocked because of her looks all of her life. So I would hope that she would be able to see that Tormund is kind of more genuinely into her. Even though, yeah, it's kind of more of a primal attraction thing, but Tormund better be careful, man. Westeros is changing real quick. You don't want to get hit with no sexual harassment charges. you know. So I would hope that she would choose Tormund, but you gotta see what kind of thing they lay out for season 8. Alright, so next up from Ricky Hunt. Do you think Sweetrobin is John Arryn's son, or do you believe the theory that he is Littlefinger's? I definitely believe he is Littlefinger's. I mean, I remember, going back and reading through the books, and I was like, yo, this Littlefinger's kid, man. you know, I went back reading through it, and I was like, holy shit, this is Littlefinger's son right here. I'm like, but does anybody know that is the question? Like, does anybody in the actual story question this? Let's see, Ricky. No, I haven't done one of these on Blackfish. I have not. So, the next one I'm doing is on Braun. So maybe after that one, I'll do the Blackfish. All right. All right. So, Angel Reed. Did Ramsay write the pink letter in the TV show version? Yes, he did. TV show version, Ramsay definitely wrote the pink letter. I think that's one of those red herrings that George kind of trying to, like, it might have been one of those things where he told Dan and Dave, like, hey, you know what, I want to keep that one a secret. There are a few things that Dan and Dave still have to keep secret. And I think that might have been one of those things, like, nah, I don't want that revealed. So, along with what John's real name is, because I doubt his real name is Aegon. Like, that would be beyond stupid. All right, next up from When Devo Breaks Down the Door. Will Brown Ben meet the business end of a bayonet, or will his baseless life babbling let him off with a life debt? I don't know. I mean, Daenerys does have good reason to kill him. He betrayed her. It's like you can't go around just turning your cloak every chance you get and expect people to be like, oh, well, it's a one-time kind of slip-up thing, guy. I understand you gotta get paid. They were paying you more money, so yeah, it's fine. Come right back. I mean, no, like, this isn't just business. This is personal. I could have died because of the shit you did. So, nah, Brown Ben Plum might be a dead man. I gotta hit up Ilya and Linda. Those two are super, super busy. So I haven't gotten a chance to actually talk to them in a while. But I don't know. Like, there are some things that, like, because I've talked to Ilya and Linda a few times, and there are certain things that we definitely disagree on. The pink letter being written by Ramsay would be one of those things. I don't think we've talked about that, but that's definitely one thing that I disagree. Oh, you know what they disagreed with me on? And this was before season 6, and that was the whole brand time travel thing. They disagreed with me on that one. Oh, and I was like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna be right about that. They're like, nah, we don't think George is gonna do any kind of time travel. I'm like, all right. I'm like, all the clues are right there. All right, so let's see here. Next up from Ricky Hunt, Howard Reed's wife's name is, let's see. Wife's name sounds suspiciously fake to me. Is it possible she is actually someone else? You know what? I don't even remember. I don't even remember hearing what the hell Howland Reed's wife's name was. I mean, they probably said in the books, but I mean, like, look, the Howland Reed shit sometimes is so damn inconsequential that and it's not even as inconsequential, but it's one of those things where since he hasn't shown up on page, I'm like, you know what? I'm done thinking about him. Like, that might sound messed up, but I'm like, I'm tired of thinking about people that I don't see. You know. Let's see. And another one for Ricky Hunt. Have you heard the theory that Chardane is actually the mother of Marion and Jojen and married Howland Reed? Her family refused to accept her falling for a crowning man, so she faked her death. That is interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, wow. I haven't heard that theory before, but you know, it makes a little bit of sense, I guess. I don't know. John's real name is Leopold. Leopold, oh my god, Leopold Targaryen. First of his name. Let's see here. Oh, let's see. Bernie Burnt saying, go to, I guess, the subreddit for a Song of Ice and Fire. Check out the post. You Zombie Bates analysis of Chardane posted today. Um, yeah, Sam Eats Sand. Yeah, Ilio and Linda do know more than us, but they don't know everything. They purposely don't want to know certain plot points before we do. Um, you know, I tried to get some stuff out of them, but they were like, "Nah, come on now," you know. All right, so next question from Ricky Hunt: do you think John will have a Targ name in the books as well? I think the concept is ridiculous. I mean, here's my son. No one can know who he is. Targ name, Aegon or Aemon, etc. makes no sense. Well, you gotta remember, you know, she and the she being Lyanna Stark is giving Ned her son with her dying breath, and is just kind of like, look, take care of him. She's not fully thinking about the consequences. We don't know what she knows about the war, whether or not she knows that Rhaegar was killed before this. I mean, like, since we don't fully understand or fully know the timeline, it's kind of hard to know like what information has been filtered to her. Um, and at that time she might already had a name, so like, yeah, she might have already had a name picked out. I definitely don't think it was Aegon because you got to figure it. All right, so if Ned goes to King's Landing, you get the sack of King's Landing, but Ellie and Martell and Rhaenys and Aegon were there. If at this time Lyanna's still pregnant or whatever, and she probably already had a name picked out. If it's a boy, it's gonna be named this. If a girl, it's gonna be named that. And I'm pretty sure she was already aware of Rhaegar. Yeah, of course she was aware of Rhaegar's other kids. So I can't see her being like, hey, if it's a girl, it's gonna be named Rhaenys. If it's a boy, it's gonna be named Aegon. But I do think she had a name picked out. I will check out the post, the Ashara Dane post or whatever. Nah, Ilio's favorite character is not Catelyn. Linda's favorite character is Catelyn. You know, we didn't really get to have our debate about like how could you dare, you know, like Catelyn, but yeah, you know, one of these days I'm gonna have to yeah, one of these days we're gonna have to get into like why in the world is that her favorite character. I think I was gonna ask him like, is that your favorite character because you're both redheaded? Because that would be kind of messed up. All right, so next question from AU Packmeal. Since Robert Arryn is not John's, is this just another major house that goes extinct? Hell yeah. You know, unfortunately for John Arryn, he had two actual legitimate sons that were his, and they both died. Yeah, they both died, and yeah, man, you know, so House Arryn, you know, House Arryn is a wrap, unfortunately. Mm-mm-mm. Ricky Hunt says, let's be honest, Lyanna never thought about the consequences of anything. I mean, look, we don't know what she did or did think about, you know. And it's funny, before I knew that George didn't like fan fiction, I was actually going to write like a short story about Robert's Rebellion. Like I was gonna write the POV chapters and all that. It was gonna be the first chapter, the epilogue. No, not the epilogue. The prologue was going to be the prologue was going to be Lyanna on the way to the Tower of Joy. The middle chapters were going to be Rhaegar, and then the prologue was going to be Robert. No, not the prologue, the epilogue. Why do I keep on getting epilogue and prologue mixed up? The epilogue was going to be Robert. Obviously, Robert wouldn't die in the epilogue. Or no. The prologue was gonna be the prologue was gonna be, God damn it. The prologue was gonna be Lyanna. I think the middle chapters were gonna alternate between Robert and Robert Rhaegar, and there was one other person, and then the epilogue was gonna be Arthur Dayne. But then I found out that George absolutely hates fan fiction, and I told that to the two people I told that to. I shouldn't have even told them about that, because if they do remember that, and I ever wind up, you know, meeting George, they talking about like, yes, he was going to do that. I told Ilio and Linda when I the first time I talked to them, like, yeah, you know, I'm actually trying to work on an outline to write Robert's Rebellion. You know, since George said he's not really gonna like put that into book form, you know, and like it wasn't until after I talked to them, well, when I did the interview with him a few years ago, then I found out that George doesn't like fan fiction. I'm like, holy shit! Oh man, that's bad. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Next up, when Debo breaks down the door, asks, "Is the Night King officially the third head of the dragon?" I guess in the show he is. I guess in the show he is. You know, even though, oh my god, horrible, horrible, horrible. I mean, but you know, and that's one of those things. Like, season 7 was not a good season. Anybody who thinks that season 7 was a good season, like, yeah, there were a couple of good episodes, but a good season of Game of Thrones, it was not. And unfortunately, a lot of stuff surrounding the Night's King was some of the worst shit. You know, yeah, he was a menacing character, but oh my god, it was just like, this shit doesn't make any sense. Like, what? What? And it wasn't even the stuff that him throwing the javelin at Viserion versus throwing it at Drogon, who was on the ground, didn't make any damn sense. But some of the stuff surrounding him, you know, didn't make sense. And it was just like, too many leaps in logic for me. But, you know, whatevs. Okay, Ricky Hunt asks, what major house will survive? Mm. I think the Starks will wind up surviving. Possibly the Tullys. Possibly. Like, those two are the most likely in my eyes that would survive. And maybe House Baratheon. Oh, you know what? Shit, are we talking about the books? House Tyrell, I think, would survive. House Tyrell has enough people, like, unless they wind up getting slaughtered all you know, like, in a damn sept. Yeah, I think House Tyrell could survive. Growing strong. Let's see here. All right, so yeah, next another one for Ricky Hunt. Do you think the sailor's wife is Tysha? If so, let's see, could Lana be her daughter? Also, let's see, could Lana, her daughter, also be Tyrion's? She has blonde hair and fits the timeline. Also, her name is Lana, similar to Lannister. Yeah, um, it seems like that, but then it also seems like Penny could be his daughter too, because you know, like, she was either singing or humming a song that he only ever heard Tysha sing. You know, dwarfism happens to be something that's usually genetic. She's super young. Well, not super young, but you know, like, she might be like 15, 16, something like that, which would make her around the right age. So, yeah, I mean, man, George. Yeah, this is the bullshit, man. Damn it, George. This is the absolute bullshit. This is gonna drive me to drink some more Arizona iced tea. Um, but yeah, I mean, that would be crazy because, you know, like, all right, so let's talk about the let's talk about the sailor's wife. So she does the whole prostitution thing. Um, yeah, she does the whole prostitution thing, and it's one of those things where because like she's like, all right, you can only marry me for a night or whatever, right? Um, yeah, she was like, you can only marry me for a night. You gotta pay me to marry me for the night or whatever. And what was the other thing? I mean, that just kind of makes it similar to what happened with her and that makes it similar to what happened with the whole thing with Tywin making all of the soldiers rape her and then pay her a silver coin or whatever. Um, yeah. So, mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Wow. A shout out to Septa Shannis Sapphires. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see here. Wait, who exactly is a sick bastard? AU? Like I see he wrote sick bastard, but I'm like, who exactly? Let's see here. So okay, so you're asking about Ricky Hunter's asking about like how would the name Stark survive? So basically, when it comes to royal families or noble families, if you marry the daughter of someone who's higher up on the food chain, that would be one case where the husband would take the wife's name, the wife's last name. So if you had, let's say the Hornfoots or whatever, or no, not even, let's say Karstark. If you had uh one of the Karstark men marry Sansa, that Karstark might take the Stark name. It might just be Stark from there on. Okay, so all right, next up for Ricky Hunter's like Tyrion keeps pondering where whores go. Would be bittersweet if he walks into a brothel and finds his wife and daughter. Yeah, oh man, oof, not just bittersweet, but heartbreaking. Um, that would be absolutely heartbreaking. You know, mm-mm-mm. Trying to give me all of my feels, man. All right, next up from when Debo breaks down the door. When will the daughter's plot go underway, and when will it cause the kingdoms to sway and join the fray? Speaking of fray, when will old man Walder pay for the fateful day he killed the Starks to our dismay? Um, I think the Dornish plot is not going to work because Doran Martell is kind of a jerk. Sent his boy off with no kind of plan, and now he's fried like a steak in a pan. As far as old man Walder Frey, one day it will be his day. Will he die by the hand of Arya? I don't know. But one thing we do know is old man Walder gotta go. I need to really get back to writing rhymes. I haven't written any rhymes in a while. Spin them bars, son. Alright, next up from Ricky Hunt's, why do the Mormonts seem to not have husbands? They are all girls who have children, but have the Mormont name and not bastard names. They claim they mate with bears while warging. Hmm. I mean, think about it like this, Ricky. If you go north of the wall, it's snowing like crazy. You got a dude who's, all dressed up in bear furs or whatever. You might be able to get away with saying, hey, yeah, I made it with a bear. It's a hairy dude with a snowy beard with, running around with a bear skin coat. Maybe you might be able to get that off. I don't know. Why they don't have bastard names though? Because the Mormonts are badass women, and listen, I wouldn't be the person to try to sit there and tell them what they're gonna do, because I don't want one of them to try to kill me. I'm just saying. Let's see. Septuagina, Sir Stefan. Can I just call you Sir Stefan? I don't know why Septuagina is sapphires when you are Sir Stefan, though. You're gonna have to explain that to me one day. But he's like, I heard two cool things this week. Jacobs was talking about how Shet has seagulls on a shit brown field. Okay. And LML was talking Val would be John's second wife, not Danny. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched any Preston videos in a long time. I haven't watched any LML videos in a while either. Nothing against it. I just, there's a lot of stuff I haven't watched lately. All right. So Ricky Hunt's saying, but Torment is the father of Alicene's kids as well. I mean, look, man, there is so much about this shit that we don't know. And, just like something I saw last night, we may not get any actual answers, you know. Um to have Vale houses or house shit and house toilet. I mean, well, yeah, shit and toilet, or yeah, that, you know. I wasn't really thinking that deeply into it, but you know. I mean, well, it's funny, you know, Ricky, since you put Alisane's kids are also claimed to be from a bear, because Tormund Giantsbane also calls himself husband to bears, you know. So, oh man, Tony Umber, what's happening, bro? Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. You know, because I'm gonna wrap up in a few minutes. You know, not right now, but in a few minutes though. See, as long as Val is alive, John and Danny is not happening. Yo, you know what's funny? Because when I watched the show, was it season 5 or season 6? Whichever episode Hard Home was in, man. I thought that the girl that they introduced, the wildling that they introduced, Carsey, I thought that she was going to be show Val. I mean, because she was very pretty. She was very, very attractive. Um, but then you know they wound up killing her off, and I was like, oh come on, man, you bastards, man, you guys just don't want us to have uh any kind of you guys don't want us to have any kind of joy whatsoever, man. Like just gotta be joyless. Sammy Sand says, I liked Val until she started talking shit about Serene. I mean, look, we gotta look at it in context. You know, where they're from, there's absolutely no cure for grayscale whatsoever. Um, and you know, I've been hearing people speculate for years that they think, um, that somehow Shireen is going to possibly start a plague in Westeros. Like I've heard that stated that Shireen might actually start a grayscale plague in Westeros. So, mm-mm-mm. Let's see here. All right. When Debo breaks down the door, asks, "Do you think Jack and stole Skull to make a chain of events unfold, or did Prologue Pate die simply to not be able to have a prolonged mate?" Okay, let's see here. So obviously, Jack and stole the scroll because there's something left to be unfolded. But you know, when it comes down to it, um, Jackin and whatever it is that he's up to, not only will it be exposed, but I think Sam is going to kill him in the process. Pate was just a tool. He was a tool when we met him in the prologue, and now he's being used as a tool by the Faceless Men. You know, so Pate's death was for nothing. Just basically, he died because he was a tool. Period, point blank. Alright, next up from AU. If they could get a white from north of the wall, why not get a stone man and plant them in the north? I mean, well, here's the question. I'm like, you get a stone man and plant them in the north, and I mean, like, remember, stone men are still living creatures, you know. Like they're still living, so it's not like they're undead or anything. Like, you know, unless it's for sure that the White Walkers can be infected by disease, then it's not gonna matter. If you take Stone Man and plant him up north, I mean, like, you know, what's that gonna do? You know, I mean, it's a good idea, but we just don't know. Yeah, we just don't know. Okay, next up from Ricky Hunt. Do you think the Faceless Man could have some magic abilities? Could Jaqen have been interested in Arya because he recognized she is a warg? It is said warg can always sense another one. Well, look, here's the thing. Faceless Men, that whole thing isn't exactly warging, but it is some sort of magic ability. You know, it is some sort of magic ability. Whether or not he sensed that Arya herself had some magic abilities, that part I'm not sure. You know, but I don't think that he was a warg himself. You know, because we don't hear anything about Jaqen. I mean, but then again, we don't get a POV chapter from him, so yeah, I just I don't know. I don't think they have warging in the East, but it's possible he may have sensed. Yeah, he may have sensed that Arya had some magical blood. You know, it's possible. Next, he asks, well, why was Pate a tool? Pate was a tool because here you have someone who's supposed to be, training to be a maester of the Citadel, but yet really his main concern is whether he can, um, whether or not he can have sex with a virgin. He's like, oh man, I gotta find a way to get some gold so I can take this girl's virginity. You know, and then maybe I can, pay her to come with me and leave Westeros. So yeah, man, straight up tool behavior, and he got the death a tool deserves. That might sound foul, man, but it is what it is. All right, next up from Wendy will race down the door. Will Sam accidentally stab Jack in the ass with dragon glass? I don't think he will accidentally stab him. I don't think he's gonna accidentally stab him. I think he's gonna stab him on purpose. Um, he's gonna be Sam the Slayer. Again, remember, think about it. He killed a White Walker. Um, let's see, what else did he kill? Hold on. See, now you're gonna make me pull up the wiki. Let's see if I can find Sam the Slayer on here. Can I find Sam the Slayer? Let's see, Samuel Tarley. Alright, let's see that. Let's see here. Come on, come on, come on. The sacrifice of the festival sacrifice of short to John. Let's see here. Because he kills a White Walker. Okay, I guess he doesn't kill anything else. I thought he killed something else other than a White Walker. Yeah, in the show he kills a Thin, but you know the Thins are totally different in the books than they are in the show, so I don't really count that one. But I think he's gonna wind up killing. He's gonna wind up killing. You know, he's gonna be the dude that winds up like killing legendary creatures by accident. You know, and it's not by accident in terms of like, oh, you know, I slipped and fell and wound up killing this magical creature, but he's gonna be the dude that's like, oh, I didn't know I was killing this magic thing. It just so happened that they were attacking me and I had to defend myself, so I wound up killing this magic thing. But it was either me or them. So I think that's what's gonna happen with Sam. Let's see here. Okay. So all right, next up for recon. Let's see. Onan said that the White Walkers hate fire and iron. Why is that the case if it cannot hurt them? Um, I don't know. I mean, like, so here's the thing, right? So with that whole thing with the fire and iron thing, hmm. I mean, look, we're given so much more in the show in terms of White Walker abilities than we are in the books. You know, yes, we know they bring the cold with them, but yeah, we know that they bring the cold with them, but it's one of those things where we don't know to like what extent the cold comes with them, or to what extent they possibly control the cold. So it's difficult to say like yay or nay in terms of, okay, well, the White Walkers show up, it's definitely cold, yada 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 kind of thing. Mm, um I don't know how to answer that one. I'll be honest with you. That one is yeah, that one's a little difficult. Mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah, I honestly don't know how to answer that one. I don't I don't want to lie to you, man. Yeah, listen, guys, man, it's been nearly 2 hours. I'm going to wrap this up because of course there's always more work to do. Always. Because, you know, that's just what life is. Life is work sometimes. But yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here. tonight. Again, I want to apologize for not being here on Thursday. I made a horrible mistake. That led me to doing this on Friday instead of Thursday, and I will not be making that mistake again. Yeah, horrible mistake. Ugh. Mm-mm-mm. Uh, oh man, look, yeah. So look, I will be back next Thursday. Next Thursday, I will be back. You know, I'm gonna be doing Braun. You know, Braun next week, and then the week after that, Ricky, you're gonna have to remind me which one it was you wanted. Because oh man, I already don't remember that. Oh, Blackfish. Yeah, shout out to Ricky Hunt for suggesting Brennan Blackfish. Yo, listen, if you guys wanna suggest any characters, that you want to see me do, hit me up on Twitter. See the link down there. That's my name. Hit me up on Twitter. You go or on Instagram. Like I said, this one actually came from Instagram. John, holla at me after this is over, man. We need to talk. Yeah, but look, like I said, I will be back next week to do another one of these, of course, and no more not doing Thursdays unless it is I don't know, unless it just you have no idea. I don't know. I'm starting to ramble now. It's been a long day. It's been a very, very long day. I've been up since like 4:30 this morning, man. Anyway, look, I will see y'all next week. Thank you to everybody who showed up tonight. Thank you to all those who will watch later on. I'm actually going to try, and I know I keep on saying this every week. I'm going to try to work on a regular edited video. I got some things I've been trying to work on that's it's taking me longer than I was expecting. Sometimes when you try to embark on do things, it's like it looks easy, but then you realize like, no, this is not as easy as I thought it was. So I'm hoping to be able to debut something possibly for the new year for everybody, Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, yeah, like I said, thanks to everybody who came and joined me live. Thanks to everybody who will watch this later. Make sure to check me out next week, Thursday. I believe I normally do this at 7:00. Oh man, what is it? Let's see here. Debo is saying he actually prefers Friday because less work and it's the weekend. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I'll do a poll on Twitter to see what people like better, Thursday or Friday. All right. Make sure to hit me up on Twitter. If not, or I'll leave a poll or something, a Thursday or Friday poll, and ask people which one they'd rather see me do. Anyway, look, you guys already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and come back for more. That has been my time, and this is Don Willie saying, Vala Dohiris. I will see y'all next week.